Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the DTECH Interview Studio presented by OATI out at DTECH 2026 in sunny San Diego, California. This week has been jam-packed full of stuff, but it's always good when you have a minute to catch up with someone you had a chance to talk to last year. If you don't know me by now, I'm Factor This content director Paul Gerke, joined in the interview studio by Sally Jacquemin. We talked at DTECH last year. I know a lot has changed since then, including the name of where it is exactly that you work. I know it can get confusing in a hurry when we're talking about name changes and acquisitions. Sally, could you tell the people what it is you do?
Sure. So I lead our power and utility business unit at Emerson's digital grid management business. And many of you probably know us as OSI, being around in the industry for 100% focused on automation technology for utilities in the control room, OT, for the last 35 years. So we're now rebranding under Emerson, our parent company, as Emerson Digital Grid Management.
And the conversations you're having here at DTECH, regardless of what moniker you're going by, are a lot of the conversations you were having last year, although probably with a little gasoline poured on top. It seems like there's so much attention on this space right now. What have your talks been like at DTECH this week?
Utilities are in such a state of urgency because of just the tremendous change and acceleration of our industry. It's never been more exciting to be in our industry. And this has, been taking off the last few years, and it just keeps going, the train. So we have utility conversations where utilities are like, listen, I'm trying to build out power gen. I'm trying to build out our transmission, our distribution networks. I need to transform all of our operational technology. It's 25 years old. There is a tremendous amount of pressure on utilities these days, and figuring out where to focus and who to partner with is a tremendous challenge. And so as a leading OT vendor, we're trying to be those partners. We're trying to lean in, and we're trying to, help and be very focused in delivering pragmatic, real solutions that drive an impact as quickly as possible.
Part of serving utilities is being flexible too, I'm sure, because we're all working with different operational budgets and timeframes and scales. How have your solutions been flexible and fit into what those utilities are looking for in ways that you've noticed, like, hey, we're making a real difference?
Sure. I think, it comes down to one of the things that we're focused on is the fundamentals. When you build a house, you have to have a good solid concrete slab before you build the walls, before you put in the windows and so forth. And so, and if you ask me how much you should be paying for a concrete slab, it's like, this is non-negotiable. It is like, you need this in your house. It can't be cracking. It can't. And so that foundation for all the growth, like someone's like, well, I want to deploy AI. Do you have AI? I'm like, first you need your concrete slab, and then you need the walls of your home, and AI is the landscaping at the very end, So I think a lot of utilities need to looking back at what are the foundational steps to enable their pathway, their journey towards technology enablement, and that North Star of optimization and orchestration and surgical demand response at the grid. And so utilities really need to, lay out a plan and execute on this plan. And so we've had a lot of customers over the years that have laid out that plan and executed it very well, and improving that. I think one example is Jamaica Public Service. So everyone probably saw Jamaica went through a hurricane in December. It was, really devastating to the island and the community. And, Jamaica's Public Service has our full tech stack, from transmission and SCADA and distribution and outage management. And, our system held up through the entire hurricane, performed, as expected, helping them keep the lights on to as many people as possible. And it's just a great story to remind us why it's important and what we do. And I think that's part of one of the most energizing things about this event is I look in customers' eyes and I hear those types of stories. And it's like, this is why I get up every day.
I love that you shared that anecdote, and I want to know more about those stories because those conversations that someone like me isn't sitting in on are the real good ones at DTECH. What have they been like? Has anyone told you something or discussed something with you that got you thinking in a new direction, or maybe you got some ideas for DTECH 27 already?
Sure. I mean, I think, there's always hot topics in the industry. I think with right now in the utility industry, with the focus on load growth, in particular data centers and AI, everyone is going back to, how do I produce generation and get it onto the grid into the place where it needs to go? And so this optimization of power gen and data centers and linking everything together is definitely something that will continue. I'd personally like to see data centers and the power gen attach them as like batteries on the grid, where you can use levers and knobs to flex up and discharge and charge and flex on and off as needed to help alleviate grid congestion. So there's things like that, concepts like that we're working on to help utilities maintain that reliability of the grid. I think, the last few years there's been a lot of focus on growth of renewables and distributed energy resources. Well, of course, in North America, we've lost some of the tax credits for those. And so the focus is not so much on sustainability and go green measures. It's more back to the fundamentals of reliability and centralized power gen and core transmission and distribution. So I think that reliability focus and then therefore affordability, it's a shifting the pendulums a little bit more that direction than it has been in previous years.
I'm sensing a theme here of a need to do the basics right, to get this core together before you start to worry about the frills and what's outside of it. But everyone here wants to talk about the frills. They want to talk about AI implementation. They want to talk about machine learning and ways that we might be able to do some stuff with old poles and wires that we never would have dreamed of when the grid was built. What do you make of the temperature of the AI conversation? How serious is it in terms of where we're headed?
Sure. I mean, there's no doubt that AI is going to be a tremendous tool to propel all industries, not just our industry. But I also think we need to take a measured approach to adopting AI, especially in mission critical industries and the secure control rooms that we operate in. And so we're working on AI in R&D in certain use cases and applications that truly drive value for utilities. A lot of times people are like, I have this cool technology and I've done this, and this. And it's like, well, what problem does that solve? Let's not just create for creation's sake, but let's have a real problem that we solve. And so I think focused use cases in AI that drive real value will prevail. And we'll see that probably first at the grid edge with consumer-focused data and applications, because it gets a little harder when you get into real-time control systems that have secure control rooms and data centers that can't connect to the cloud and other outside internet sources. So, I think it'll evolve. It's rapidly evolving. I'm excited to see how that progresses next year.
And I know you guys are rapidly evolving too. You probably can't share much, but anything you're excited about that's lying ahead that you're looking forward to before we wrap things up?
Sure. I mean, I think one of the technologies that I'm most excited about as kind of a game changer in the industry is network model management. And this is something that, has been in the works for, a couple of decades. And certainly the IEC SIM communication standards group has been very actively working on it. But network model management is really a data layer that doesn't just take X's and O's at like a normal data center or data, historian repository. It adds a contextualization of the electrical network model. So now you know where data is coming from on the grid. Think of like a Google map in your mind, and this is where all this data is located from a electrical connectivity perspective. And so now, as you make decisions and as your data collects, you can make better decisions that are more accurate from a geographical electrical connectivity perspective. So that makes the results from things like a transmission management system or an ADMS much more powerful and more optimized by having a really good solid data source.
Sally Jacquemin, I could listen to you talk all day. You know your stuff. I really appreciate you carving out a few minutes for me at DTECH. Good luck in everything that's coming next, and maybe I'll see you next year.
Fantastic.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Paul.
your time. Thank you.
Have a good one.